Well, good morning to you. Hello to you from around the world and here in Melbourne, locally. Al here from MBX, Mind, Body, Extra. And today I'm talking to you about one of my favourite subjects. You know what I'm going to talk to you about. It's called meditation. But you know what? Before we start, I need to tell you, I need to help you to find out what meditation isn't. So meditation is misunderstood because of this, because people think it's something that actually isn't. So therefore, what is meditation? We'll find out later. But to start with, what is it not? Well, is it the mind? Because let's go over the mind. The mind is a very, very vast thinker, and it has very, very many distracting thoughts. I think I said to you last time that the mind is like the cars on a freeway that's in a traffic jam. There's one car after another car, after another car, after another car. And then suddenly we come to the stop sign, traffic lights, and all the cars generally don't crash into one another. If they did, there's a terrible accident. In a way, our thoughts are like that. We find that our thoughts are very, very vast, very many of them, just like on the freeway. And when we come to a stop, generally the thoughts don't crash into one another. But more than often, we don't come to a stop with thoughts and they do crash into one another and they cause a terrible collision. That's called thinking. Thinking is like that. So let's look at why on the freeway the cars don't crash into one another, and it's because there's a space generally between the car in front and the car behind. We have to create this between our thoughts so that the thoughts don't have a collision. That's what the mind can do, cause great collisions, and that's why we were here today listening to me wanting to talk about meditation, because meditation is often thought of as a state of no thought. And you know what? It's correct. So I've answered the question I put earlier. Meditation isn't of the mind. So the mind is a thinker. But even more than that, the mind can contemplate. Contemplation is a quite remarkable thing. Contemplation, I should say. Contemplation is actually now having a light concentration, but on one subject only. So you're actually thinking about something previously, and then you'll contemplate it, and you keep your mind on that one subject. And then once we start to get through the contemplation, we come to terms with that, and then we begin to get some strength in our mind, and it becomes concentration. And the concentration can become so powerful that you can do only one thing, and the mind is completely involved in that one thing. Time stands still as you do that, and the effortless effort that I've often spoken about happens naturally, because all this is natural, it's of nature. So this is the mind. The mind is a thinker, a contemplator, and it can become an incredibly powerful concentrator. Think of a magnifying glass, hold it steady under the sun's rays, and we can start a great fire. That's how powerful the mind can be also. We can keep the mind so still, steady on one thing, we create tremendous power. But that's still mind. It's still not meditation. Meditation, therefore, is not of the mind. Meditation is of no mind. Now, some of you might think by me saying no mind that you disappear, that you go up in a puff of smoke. Nothing could be further from the truth. So meditation is when the mind is idling, and meditation is when the mind is not therefore thinking, it isn't contemplating, and by the way, it's even finished concentrating. You've been absorbed through your concentration, and you've become absorbed into the intention and the attention. You're given attention, and you're giving the attention some intention. It's now got power behind it because it's now concentrating at such a level you get absorbed into it. So people who are high performers in sports, say triathlon, tennis, anything like that, know this position well. They know this quite well. They call it the zone or the flow state. And when they're in the zone or the flow state, the mind is absent. They're just doing a task, to the best of their ability, so they can run marathons, do triathlons, play tennis, football, soccer, whatever. They do it tremendously well because the mind is not there. So when they do these things, they're actually meditating. So let's talk about meditation now. Meditation we've already discussed. It's when the mind is absent. It hasn't gone anywhere actually, it's still there, but it's just idling away. We can call it no mind. Some people call it no mind. I like to call it the mind is at rest. I think that's non-threatening, don't you? So the mind is at rest and there's something else there. That's what we're going to practice in a moment when we start to meditate. The mind is at rest though. It's not acting. It's not busy. It's not thinking. It's not contemplating. It's even finished concentrating and the mind then rests and there's something left. You haven't gone up in a puff of smoke. You're still here, but the mind is resting. It's exactly the same as when you're in the flow state, sporting people. Exactly the same as a zone. It's exactly the same as when you're listening to your music. You get so involved, you musical people, that you actually become the music and you're such awareness that the music is reverberating through every cell in your body. This is what meditation is meant to be. Meditation isn't just for the meditation room. If it was, 99% of your life wouldn't be able to meditate. It would be only for not even 1% of your life. I'm saying to you, meditation is for all of life, not some of life. Meditation is for the whole lot. You use your mind, you use your thinking, you use your contemplation, you use your concentration so that you can actually then get into a flow state of meditation as you do it. Now, nothing is excluded from this. Everything is included. There's nothing excluded at all. We can all do this. We can do it easily. So shortly, we're going to do some very basic meditation things. I like to use the mind. I don't like to fight the mind. Why would you want to fight yourself to try and stop it? Because if you try that, which a lot of meditation methods do, if you try to fight it to a stop, you're in it to fight itself. And it's actually becoming active. It's becoming actually quite aggressive on you. And it doesn't quite work. At best, it might relax you, but this is not meditation. Meditation is effortless effort through all of the things that you do in life. So, let's meditate now, together. And let's do this way. I like to do it this way because I've developed a program called BLIP. Baseline Internal Program takes you to the baseline of the mind, which I've already suggested to you is a heavy concentration. Once you get to concentration, you'll get absorbed into what we're concentrating on and you'll be actually naturally meditating. So the mind likes to be caught on calculus. So it really loves counting backwards, in my experience anyway. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The 0 is the baseline of the mind. That's why I call it BLIP, Baseline Internal Program. 0 is the baseline of the mind, so it loves to count backwards. 5, 4, 3, mind's active, 2, 1, and 0. When I get to 0, that's the task of the mind. So at that point, the mind's involvement is now over. But because we haven't done enough of this, it wants to roam off again into thinking, contemplation, before it wants to start concentrating again. So we don't allow it to do that, the mind. So we go 5, but breathe in, belly out. 4, but breathe in, belly out. 3, breathe in, belly out. 2, breathe in, belly out. 1, breathe in, belly out. 0, breathe in, belly out. We've kept the mind concentrating. You'd agree with that. We've got to 0 now, and the count, obviously, because it's 0, is finished. But we keep the mind with attention. We give attention to breathe in, belly out. Energy flows where attention goes. Keep your mind on breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. in, belly out. There doesn't need to be too much concentration there because breathing doesn't need a lot of concentration. We need attention. We need attention on where the navel's going as you breathe in, belly out. Just attention. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. And then let it slide off. Breathe in, belly out. In that space there, after the last attention has been given to breathe in, belly out, you've now got attention on a space. The space there, no mind, is meditation. So, here's the methodology for you. We'll do some together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. With breathe in, belly out. 0, the count's over. Keep attention on breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. Let it slide off. Find the space. Give attention to the space. Not to thinking about the space. Not to contemplating the space. Am I in the space? Just give attention to the space there once the breathe in, belly out has dropped away. Breathe in, belly out, we can shorten to BIBO, B-I-B-O. Breathe in, belly out. Let's do it together again. 5. Breathe in, belly out. 4. Breathe in, belly out. 3. Breathe in, belly out. 2. Breathe in, belly out. 1. Breathe in, belly out. 0. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. Give attention now to the space. Not to contemplating, have I done this right? Not to thinking, all that's mind. The space is meditation, is no mind. When you've done enough, generally, short bursts I recommend. A lot of teachers say do 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the afternoon. That's a very Western way of doing it. Some people go for very long periods, hours. Look, it's hard enough to do this for a minute. My advice to you is to do many small meditations like this and do them often and do them during your day. If you haven't got time to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, BIBO, start at 1. 1. Breathe in, belly out. 2. If you want to go the other way, breathe in, belly out. 3. If you want to go up now, breathe in, belly out. You see there's no rule. Or 1. Breathe in, belly out. 0. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. Attention to the space now. That's meditation. Now here's another quick one for you, because we're nearly running out of time. Here's another quick one for you. They do this, a lot of mystics have done this from the East. This is what I call trailing off. And trailing off is the end of the mind as it's talking through your voice box. I trailed off the last letter. The last letter. Last. Don't miss. After the last letter is finished, there's a space. Space. Give attention to the space. Give attention to the space. Now, if you did that for long enough, if you did that for 24/7, be just like the Buddha, some of the heroes that I've looked at over the years, Jesus of Nazareth, similar. A lot of the mystics, from all traditions too, by the way, they're all talking about the same thing. The space is where meditation is. Just as the cars on the traffic jam on the freeway, they don't crash into one another if there's a space. If there's no space, they crash into one another, just as the thoughts do. We don't want crashing into one another thoughts. That causes what's called anxiety at a low grade. When it gets high grade, it becomes very depressive. And after the last few years in our world, we don't need any more anxiety. How simple is this? You can be on the train, you can be on a bus, you can be in life, and you can suddenly, you don't have to do it out loud as I've done it with you. You can do this just silently. Start at 1 if you haven't got time to do this. 1. Breathe in, belly out. 0. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. Breathe in, belly out. Give attention to the space. That's meditation. Practice is the way to go here. To get proficient at anything, as you people well know, particularly people that play high level sport or something, or anyone really, we must persist. We must persist so that we develop discipline. Once we get to discipline, we form a little belief around what we're doing that seems to be working. And once we get to the belief stage, it takes a bit of a leap actually. It jumps itself into, still caught up in persistence and discipline and belief, but it jumps to faith. You just have a faith that this is working. And because you're keeping on going, in the end you just know. And when you get to the just know, you've mastered it. You've become a master of it. I hope this has helped you all. Go away and practice it now. Remember, persistence, discipline, belief, faith, and you'll master it. Just like anything else in life, we have to actually spend the time doing it. That's for another talk soon. We'll have a talk on time, but next week, I'll just remind you, I'm not doing a live next week. I'm going to do a pre-recorded for you. I'm not sure what day it'll be on, but I'll let you know, and I'll put it on Facebook and on the other platforms as well. I'll be talking about mind to body, and particularly for the corporate world. There's many CEOs and managers out there that need simple procedures like what I've just said that help their mind-body when the real pressure is on. So I'm going to have that on for you next week. If there's anything you'd like me to answer, just send me a message and I certainly will do it to you. I'll send it back to you, I should say. I'll have a look at it for you, answer it in the best way I can. I hope you've enjoyed today. I've enjoyed presenting this to you. But before I go, for those of you who haven't joined us yet, Mind Body Extra, come along and join us into our membership program, MBX Elite Plus membership. You get all the programs you see behind me here, plus many others we're developing. You'll hear from very influential people across the world that I'll interview. They have their bit to tell you about this type of stuff as well. There's many, many benefits for you to become a member Also, if you want to become a member, do it now. Just go onto our website, www.mindbodyxtra.com.au. The extra has no E. You can do that now, and for the cost of a coffee and a cookie per month, $7.50, you can become a member, and all of those programs you see, they're all for you, and there's many more coming. They're worth $130 Australian each. So become a member with us, and you can get onto all these things that I've currently spoken about today and have done in the past. They're all for you members. Great benefits here. Go to MBX Mind Body Extra on YouTube, and you'll see a lot of these presentations as well. Just free to you all. Subscribe, and it's all for you. Great to see you. See you next week. Pre-recorded. Bye for now.